for kids and all their frozen treats, right? The ice cream truck comes along and sings a little magical song and all the kids come running. And when you look at the ingredients on ice cream, popsicles, snow cones, ice cream bars, you'll find a long list of chemicals, preservatives, additives, colorings, hydrogenated oil, corn syrup, sugar. All of these things are disease-promoting ingredients. That's pretty much all that's in there. And so I know with my daughter, she's 9, every time the ice cream truck comes by, all of our friends go running and she comes to me and, you know, could I please? And I tell her no, and it's a big fight. And so finally I figured out a few years ago that if I just stock the freezer with healthy popsicles, healthy treats, healthy snow cone items, when the ice cream truck comes, before her friends have gotten to the truck and back, I've pulled stuff out of the freezer and I've handed it to her. And I found that it's super simple to make. It's healthy for her, meaning it's nutrient dense, it's full of vitamins and minerals and whole foods, and she can eat something that looks about the same as what her friends are eating, but not be getting all those harmful substances in her body. So I just wanted to show you some of my favorite kids' treats that my daughter really likes and that really help her to get over that social problem of, hey, all my friends are eating it and it looks delicious and I'm missing out, so what are you gonna do? So Orson Gigi has this really cool snow cone machine. I'm going to show you 2 ways to do this. The snow cone machine is the fancy way to do it. And this is the way to do it if you don't have a snow cone machine. So first of all, let's turn it sideways so you guys can see it. If you have a cool snow cone machine, you just fill up the top right here with ice. Oops. There we go. Turn on the button and out comes, woo! Wow. Ta-da! And I only made a little mess. Okay, there you go. So there's the snow from the snow cone machine. Now at our house, we don't have a snow cone machine. My daughter wishes we had a snow cone machine, but we don't. So here's the second way to do it that I find really handy. If you have a Vitamix, these are amazing, like I said earlier. And one other thing they do is make snow. So you just put your ice in there. And actually, we'll do it this way. And a little bit of water at the bottom. I saw this at the Vitamix demo, and I thought it was so cool. We've been doing it ever since. Okay, so you just put in your ice with a little bit of water at the bottom. Now if it's not working, just add more water, because the point is you're gonna submerge all the ice in the water and it's gonna blend it up and then you'll take the water out later. So Vitamix has these cool tampers that you just smash it down with. This is a little more labor intensive. And then you just have a bowl with a little strainer here. Dump it out and voila, you have snow. And you just drain all the water off and then you can get a scooper and you can scoop it out and there you've got your snow. Cool, huh? I thought it was cool. All right. Now the next question is, what do you do about those bottles of syrup that they pour over everything that's just made out of corn syrup and artificial flavor and artificial color? Kids, I was listening to a radio show and I think they were saying like between 30 and 50% of kids have been diagnosed with ADD, and a vast majority of those kids are being put on medications because of that. Now, if you go to the pediatricians that specialize in ADD and ADHD, they're finding that if you put the kids on a very strict diet, dairy-free, gluten-free, and free of sugar, corn syrup, chemicals, hydrogenated oils, artificial flavorings and artificial colorings, if you're very strict on that diet and it's a very pure diet like that, their symptoms start to go away and they start to act like normal kids, which is telling us that all of these wild kids, it's food induced. It's because they eat Cocoa Puffs for breakfast, and they eat Hot Pockets for lunch, and they eat macaroni and cheese for dinner, and in between they eat candy bars and suckers and snow cones and popsicles and ice cream, okay? Your kids' bodies, adult bodies can't function that way either, but kids' bodies can't function that way. Your cells, it disrupts your cellular function, it disrupts your nervous system, makes you so you can't think straight, it makes you so you don't feel good, it lowers your immune system. Did you know that I think it's as little as 2 teaspoons of sugar will decrease your immune activity by 50% for like 6 hours, okay? So it doesn't even take that much sugar to decrease your immune system big time. And in just one soda, you've got 9 to 16 teaspoons of sugar. Now you're just wreaking havoc on your immune system, not to mention you're increasing your risk of diabetes and heart disease and cancer and all those other chronic illnesses that we're suffering from. So what's the answer? The answer is stop eating all those frankenfoods, all the artificial foods, all the foods that are not food, and start eating whole food, raw food, and real food. So we're getting back to the syrup in the bottle. What are we going to do instead of that? Because it has to be colorful, it has to be delicious, and it has to work well with snow. So I've got two ideas for you. Okay, raspberries are one of my favorites. They are one of the highest foods in antioxidants. Your antioxidants are vitamin C, vitamin A, and beta carotene. And raspberries are super high in vitamin C. They're also, berries are one of the cancer-fighting foods. So the doctors that are teaching people how to reduce and prevent and reverse cancer with food, they tell them to eat lots of cruciferous vegetables, lots of berries, lots of mushrooms. So those are 3 of the things that they encourage a lot of. So this is getting lots of nutrient density in here. Plus it's beautiful, plus who doesn't like raspberry flavor, right? We're going to use some local raw honey to sweeten this up. Local raw honey is great for seasonal allergies. The bees fly around, get all the pollen, make it into honey, and what that does is it kind of primes your immune system so that when you get in contact with that same pollen that the honey was made with, you don't react to it as bad. So when you have access to local raw honey, it's a great food. It's also very full of antioxidants and nutrients. It's also antifungal, antibacterial, antiviral. So you're getting a big dose of nutrient density when you're using local raw honey. Now, if you're diabetic or if you have blood sugar issues, what you can do is, let me see, where did I put it? There it is. What you can do is use stevia. Now, I've had several people come to my class and they're like, whoa, I tried to use stevia and it was a disaster and it just didn't work well for them. What did I do wrong? So here's a little tutorial on how to use stevia. First of all, I'd get organic stevia extract. So the extract is being processed in a way that the bitter after flavor that you normally get with stevia doesn't really happen as much with that. I'd also get organic just because any type of leaf, which stevia is an herb that comes from a leaf, if they've been sprayed with pesticides, you can't get them off of the leaf. So I'd recommend organic. And stevia is not a sugar replacement. It's more of a sweetener. It's a sugar enhancer or a sweetening enhancer. So what I would do is pick a healthier option for sweeteners like local honey or maple syrup or a little bit of xylitol if you're diabetic, and then use the stevia to enhance it, okay? So let's say a recipe calls for a half a cup of honey or maple syrup or whatever. I would probably cut that in half to a quarter cup, add a little bit of stevia, just a little bit of at a time to enhance the flavor of whatever sweetener you're using. Does that make sense? And that works a lot better than just trying to use stevia. As you acquire more of a taste for stevia, then you can start using the ratio more stevia to less sweetener, but sometimes it takes a little bit of time to acquire a taste for it, just as a little side note to when and how to use stevia. All right, so we're just gonna blend this baby up. What is in there? Raspberries and honey, right? And if I wanted to make it kind of a lower carb, I put in half the honey, more stevia. the taste test. Okay, that tastes awesome to me. Now, one thing I teach in my classes is intuitive eating. That means what tastes delicious to me might not be sweet enough for somebody else, or what tastes good to me might be too sweet for somebody else, or too salty or not salty enough. So the recipes I make are just basic guidelines. Start out, I usually do like a moderate amount of salt, a moderate amount of sweetener, a moderate amount of garlic and that type of stuff. As you're making your food, you need to eat intuitively, which means taste it, see how you like it, see how it makes your body feel, and then adjust what you're eating and what you're putting in your food accordingly. For instance, I can't eat a lot of salt. If I put the normal amount of salt in things, I start getting kind of sick. So when I cook, people are always like, oh gosh, where's the salt, right? Other people, it might not bother them that much. So just be aware of how your body's reacting to what you're eating, how you like the taste of it. And a lot of times, as you start switching over to a healthy diet, your taste buds will acclimate and start liking things that are less sweet and less salty. The standard American diet has, your body only needs like around 400 milligrams of salt just for body functions. The standard American diet, or the standard American, is eating like 5,000 milligrams of salt per day. So we've acclimated our bodies to like amazing amounts of salt that really, they're pickling us. All that salt we're eating is really damaging our cell function. We're becoming beef jerky, no kidding. And so as you start eating more whole foods and more raw foods and more healthy foods, you'll stop needing all that salt, and just plain foods will start tasting good to you. Vegetables and fruits, you'll just start to notice the vibrant flavor of raw foods and appreciating that and not needing all the salt. So that being said, this tastes fabulous to me. It's really thick if you wanted to, and I made it thick just because once you put it on the snow cone, it waters down. So I'm just going to blend this up a little bit more. They're going to do that, or I can do it right here, actually. In the Vitamix, the seeds of the berries, if you leave it blending for just a little while, it'll make everything smooth, so you won't get those chunky seeds in your snow cones. Second option, so that's nutrient dense. This is like fresh food, raw food, whole food. Second best is I like to give you options, okay? Because you're not going to have access to raspberries and honey and a Vitamix all the time. So what do you do in a pinch when you're going to the fair and your kid needs a snow cone? What I do with Tasia is, that's my daughter, get these juices. They're 100% juice. So this is obviously not a whole food, and it has been processed. It's packaged in plastic, but it's 100% juice. All that's in there is, where's the ingredients here? Oh, there it is. Apple juice, water, pear juice, passion fruit juice, mango puree, citric acid, okay? So it's a pretty clean food when you're looking at the back, and it's pretty easy. Like, if you're at the farmer's market or something, and she wants a snow cone, we go to the snow cone place, we just buy ice, the cone with the snow in it, and then you can just take this off, and you've got a syrup in here, and you can pour that over the top. And again, it's not as, we've got good, better, and best, okay? So this is your best option. This is a good option. Part of this class is knowing that you do have choices. You don't have to eat the charred black burgers at the barbecue, okay? You've got choices. You don't have to eat the snow cone. You've got choices. And so with my recipes, I try to show you different levels of how you can accomplish this depending on where you are, what you've got, how much money you have. So this is an option for everybody, okay? So you might not be able to do this, but maybe you can do this. And just be aware of what your options are and pick the healthiest option you can under your current circumstances. And that's basically what we're doing.